today, as I didn't even bring in my expo information. How silly was that of me? But I know that Loren Murphy, better known as Murph, from Faribault here, has those details for us. Good morning, Loren.
Morning, Gordy. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are the Bluebirds doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, they were real good last week until the snow showed up. They're a little bit chilly, I think, but they're still here. They'll survive.
They'll find some food.
They'll find some little berries or apples. They had sumac, whatever it takes to stay alive. They'll survive.
Yeah. The expo's April 11th, right?
35th annual, yes, in Northfield Middle School, April 11th. 2200 Division Street, South, Highway 246, Northfield. Registration, 8 o'clock. Don't be late. Come, everybody. 8:50, and the program starts sharply at 9 o'clock. Don't be late. I had Julie Fox along with me. We were out videoing some bluebirds. We're going to have a nice little video that's going to start the day out. I'm going to start the day out with a video again. I got something in this one this year I don't think anybody's ever seen before. If they have, I sure want to hear about it. So come and see what's going on.
You mean in the video?
In the video, yes, yeah. And secondly, we're going to have Katie Lynn Bunny on monarch butterflies. Katie is program coordinator on monarchs in the classroom, University of Minnesota. Everybody knows the trouble the monarch butterfly is in, so we're going to have her there, and she's going to explain all the help we can do.
We'll go into more of the speakers in the next segment, but first of all, Loren, the reason why you wanted to come on today is the deadline to get a lunch, right, is next week.
Yes, you should be signed up by April 1st. Otherwise, it'll cost you $2 more to get in the door. The lunch doesn't come up, but people that are preparing the lunch would surely like to know how many people are coming. So call Jeannie Mortensen. She's a co-chair, 507-332-7003. Call Jeannie. She'd love to have you call her today and bug her, okay?
And tell us what's on the menu there, the lunch menu.
Well, it's Italian this year. Everything is going to be right there in the school. They're going to have everything you could possibly eat right there at the Northfield School. I tell you what, that place is set up so nice. It's a shame for people if you miss it. You know, everybody around here, Rice County, southern Minnesota, even the cities, it's a close drive to Northfield. Come and visit us. We got a really full day going on that day.
Yeah, there's 7 different speakers. You're one of the speakers. We'll touch on that, as I mentioned, in the next segment. I got a few songs from birds I want you to hear. Can you identify most birds by listening to them, Loren?
I probably can't, but I'm sure Kevin Smith from Hastings could. He's going to be one of our speakers too. He's a wildlife bird watcher for all ages. He could tell you the sounds.
But you know a bluebird.
I know a bluebird. I can't do the sound, but they talk to you. They actually talk to you. When you hear that, it's a nice little visit. They'll talk to you. They'll either tell you get out of here or you're in good shape.
There was a robin talking to me when I was shoveling that snow earlier this week. He was sitting under the tree, was looking down at me, it was chirping, and I looked up at it and I said, "You should come down here and grab a shovel." That chirped right back at me. He probably said, "Dummy."
Yeah, really, yeah. They're pretty noisy when they first migrate back up.
Yes,
they really chatter. Yeah, they really do.
It definitely was doing that. So we'll visit more with Murph. By the way, there's 7 total, if I remember right. And it'll be at this Bluebird Expo put on by your organization.
Bluebird Recovery, 35th annual, Gordy. We have it every year, and it's it's a beautiful spot we got in Northfield, so people please make it. Another speaker we got is Becky Masterman. She's got, her program is going to be about bees, and we all know the kind of shape bees are in. They're going to have a hard time surviving too. The trouble with them is lack of floral resources, pests, disease, and of course pesticides. They're kind of a sore spot, killing a lot of bugs that our bluebirds eat, along with bees and worms and everything else. And another speaker is going to be Mike Jurassic he's from down south, Fillmore, Houston, Winona County, coordinator for those counties. He's going to talk about bluebirds. And Kevin Smith, as I mentioned before, he's a bird watcher enthusiast. Kevin likes to get the young people involved. There's so much going on in nature that, like the front cover of our Bluebird News, it shows how the kids play nowadays. There's a picture of 4 kids sitting out in front, texting and carrying on their technology. So this is an article wrote by John Beal. He's one of our board members. He didn't miss a trick telling Grandma and Grandpas, hey, come on, get those grandkids out, take them to the expo, Bluebird Expo, show them what's going on in conservation and in the world. So
did you say this is the 35th annual expo?
Yes, it is, Gordy. 35.
Is that when the organization started? Was 35 years ago?
It is, Gordy. Yep. We started in the 70s. There was about 4 people in it to start with. It's grown considerably, but we could still please people. It's a good thing. It costs you $12 a year to join the Bluebird Recovery Program. There's 4 newsletters that are worth $1 million each, so you get quite a putback on your $12 a year. It's something that's wonderful.
Now you brought with you a little show and tell here for folks that'll be watching on YouTube. Want to grab that Bluebird nest and describe it for our radio listeners, if you would. Obviously, if people on YouTube are going to see this.
Well, this is our very favorite nest box. We do have other nest box, but actually there's about 40 years of study in this house to try and make the bluebird as successful as it can be when they lay eggs. We want them to be able to get their birds out.
And it's a simple.
What we like about this house, it's simple. It's lightweight. You drive a piece of rebar in the ground, you just slide it down, tighten the screw up, facing a tree, so when the little birds come out, they got a tree to land in. But we can take this box down, we can walk over to the car and show somebody in a wheelchair or whatever, or grandma that doesn't want to get out of the car, baby bluebirds. She's maybe never seen them before, but we can take them out.
And this is a wives' tale that if humans come in contact, the birds will. The mom used to tell us that so we wouldn't mess with the birds.
That's why it was, Gordy. Yep, you got it right on the head there. We move birds around. We move eggs. My wife, Artie, who you guys all know, she has a way of saving birds. If I find some that are sick, I bring them home to Artie. She's got a way of getting their mouth open. We feed them a few little mealworms, and we can take them back out and put them in the nest.
Some people have a green thumb. She's got a blue thumb.
She does have a blue thumb. She can do it very well. But anyway, I was going to say, Joe Edelman down there in Owatonna makes this house now. Steve Gilbertson in Malacca came out with this house. He designed it. We improved it. Joe's got a coating on the top of this house that's supposed to last forever. It does. In Minnesota, Minnesota weather's hard on cedar. Yes. You guys know that. Absolutely. So this coating that's on there actually preserves, keeps the little birds dry. They're like a little calf or a little hog, little pig. If they get wet and cold, they're going to die. So our main thing is to keep them dry. And the pole is 1/2-inch electrical conduit. We steel wool and wax it, keep it as shiny as we can so the raccoon can't crawl up and eat our little baby birds. They hear them little baby birds in there, they know it's a food source. They'll try to get up and take our boxes down. I've had them up this high. I've had their little muddy paws up this high, but they can't get our little birds out of there.
For
they
sure.
haven't yet. They haven't yet.
Wow.
They're persistent.
Yeah. They may figure out a way too, who knows?
Oh yeah, they'll work on it. They know there's food in there.
They try and find a way. So 35 years ago, I'm guessing, this Bluebird recovery program started because we didn't have many bluebirds back then.
We didn't have, Gordy, it was almost done. Dick Peterson, who invented you guys have seen this big wooden house, roof on it. It's slanted down. The door opens down. It's all wood. They weigh about a ton. And actually, that's why we went to the lighter house, was to get away from trying to carry this stuff through the bushes and stuff. It takes so much to hold them up in place that people would nail them on a tree, put them on a wooden post. The raccoon could crawl right up there and eat the young. If you come up to one of those old boxes and you see that the straw is, the nesting material is drug out, you know Mr. Raccoon has been there. So that's why we went to this house. Dick Peterson, their biggest thing, and when they first started out, was like you said, if you touch little baby birds, they're gonna die, right? Well, Dick Peterson knew that was not true, and they want you to look in your boxes. We want you to look in your boxes. You don't know what you're missing if you don't. We go out every week, we take this box down, we look in there. Once in a while, I usually tap and whistle a little, let Mom know I'm coming, and a lot of times she'll come out. Once in a while, when I take that box down, if she's hatching eggs, she stays right in there. I take the box down and take one look at her. And if you come and see our video at the expo, when I was out with Julie Fox, we were lucky enough. I caught a mom in the box. We have her on video.
So you're slow and gentle?
Slow and gentle. Slow and
gentle. If you move
gentle.
too quickly, I'm sure that startles.
Quickly, you don't want to startle them because she might break eggs, or if she's
Sure.
got some babies hatched, she might hurt them too. So, but it happens. We enjoy that. I mean, maybe you can tell I have fun doing this.
Do you have any little bird cams in any of these nests? That'd be kind of cool.
I haven't had any on these, but I do wood duck houses too, and my nephew had one last year in a wood duck house. Showed her the whole doggone way. The day the little ducks all hatched and were ready to jump, his camera went out. So, yeah, I know it. I know his camera stopped that day when they jumped. But we saw her the whole time otherwise. So it was great.
But you've never thought about doing it in one of these bluebird nests?
Well, I haven't, but in my video, I have the video I go around and show at the old folks' homes and rest homes and senior center, wherever I go. I do have a part of that in mind where North Carolina in 1989, they did do this. They filmed all the way from nest laying to egg laying to hatching to fledging. I have that in my video. So I got permission from them to use it. Theirs was a wooden box. They didn't use a box like ours. They had a wooden box. But I do have that. And people like seeing that. It shows the little guys hatch, and so it's pretty neat.
How many different species of birds do we have here?
Holy cow, I couldn't tell you, Gordy. We're going to be lucky to keep them, though, with all that's going on in our environment, I'll tell you that. With all the pesticides, insecticides, and actually the loss of our CRP land has hurt a lot, too. We used to say bluebirds don't come to town. They can't come to town. They can't survive. They like to pasture out in the country. Where do you see a pasture anymore? Well, I tell you what, there are not very many around. I've been moving my boxes. I got about 200 spots I checked. I've been coming back to town, golf courses, school, Roosevelt School. I got boxes up there. City parks, I have boxes in the city park. Soccer field, I had bluebird boxes at the soccer field. Believe it or not, all the kids that are playing at that soccer field, I always have at least a 2 hatch out there. This bluebird will hatch twice with all the kids running around out there.
And that's not normal, the 2 hatch?
2 hatch is normal. Sometimes we get 3 here, Gordy. It depends on how cold it is. This spring now we'll be lucky to get 2. It's setting us back a little. We had a expo down in Medford a few years ago, and John Beal lived down there, and it was about this same time of year, and John Beal had a nest with 5 bluebird eggs in it to show the people. We went out on a tour after the expo was over, and he could show eggs. Well, I don't think there's any bluebird eggs around up here this time. I mean, we could not have a bluebird trail now with this cold weather. I'm sure of that.
90% of all species that have become extinct, birds.
Oh, God, I believe that.
109 species of birds that have become extinct.
109? Wow.
That's what I did a little research here before the show today and found out. And you say the bluebird was very close to that.
Very close, Gordy. Yeah, he was just about done. If it wasn't for the dedicated people doing this, I think he would have been gone. They just lost all their nesting. They nest in a cavity. They used to nest in the top of a wooden fence post. Well, your fences are all gone. God, that fence line used to be a nice thing, didn't it? Remember the pheasants, the meadowlarks, all that stuff in that fence line? They're all gone. They're all plowed out. We miss that. We miss that. It was a good thing. But our boxes now, like I say, people check them once a week, and it's worked out real well for us.
The bluebirds, there are different kinds of bluebirds, right? There's the eastern bluebird.
Mountain and eastern, yes.
And the ones here are the eastern.
We're the eastern, yes we are. Yep. The mountain is a bigger bird, takes a bigger box, and Idaho. My brother used to live out there. He saw the mountain bird out there in Idaho. Yeah, yeah.
Is the bluebird in virtually every state?
Well, God darn, I was just talking to Ollie Larson yesterday. He spent a little time in Florida, and he says, you ought to see the bluebirds down there. There they are. Ollie said they're the eastern bluebird down there in Florida. Our birds, when they migrate, they go till they can't find food. If they can't find food, they keep going south. They end up in Texas. A lot of them will go to Texas. So one thing that we've been missing here in migration the last few years is you can imagine all the ice storms and everything we've had. Bluebirds have had a tough life.
Well, it was a rough winter in Texas.
It was.
I got a friend that lives in, I got a few friends that live in Texas and some relatives. And
it was cold.
They were complaining all the time on Facebook and
yes,
stuff about how cold it was.
Yes, they were. It was cold down there, Gordy. You bet.
I'm sorry, Loren.
Did I get to talk about everybody here on this annual Bluebird Expo yet?
I don't know.
No, I got. You know who I got you?
Talk about Al Bat, I don't think.
Just imagine Al Bat.
He was on the show last year.
You know what? I called him up. I said, Al, come on, we're going to go down and talk to Gordy again, would you?
He said, that Cosfell, I don't want to talk to that guy.
You know what he said? Murph, he said, I'm going to Ohio. I can't do it. But he said, you thank that Gordy and KDHL for what they do. He said, I'm serious as a heart attack. And it takes quite a bit to get Al serious, but he said, you got to thank that radio station.
It really takes a lot to get Al serious.
Says, you thank Gordy for what they do down there. So here I am, Gordy, I'm thanking you.
Al's a great guy, and he'll tickle your funny bone, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. He doesn't miss our expo. He comes every year, and I think about 80% of the people come to hear Al. They love him. Leaf Connect, planning for wildlife. Leaf's been in the landscaping business for 44 years. His personal favorite thing to do is to help landowners develop plants in their yard to help wildlife. So Leaf has got a good thing going. We're going to have a silent auction. We got Amish quilt. We got Carl Mortensen made a beautiful stained glass window. We're going to have that, wall hanging. We're going to have all kinds of stuff on our silent auction. I tell you what, folks, this is a day that you'll be so busy that you'll be lucky to realize that you were there before it's time to go.
How many members do you have in your organization?
Rice County here, we're kind of falling short. We could use a few more people in Rice County. This is the most dedicated county in the state of Minnesota. We've raised more little baby bluebirds in Rice County than anybody in the state for at least 15 years.
Awesome.
I'm very proud of that. We have dedicated people here that well, you can just tell we raise more babies than anybody else.
There are hundreds of species. We can safely say that. Hundreds of species of birds here.
Yep.
Why the bluebird?
Well, because he was in such trouble. And if you ever see, if you're lucky enough to see the bluebird sitting on a box, talking mom in, shining all his blue, he just sparkles in the sunlight. I mean, blue jays are blue, the tree swallow, he's a little bit blue, but nobody shines like that male bluebird, I'll tell you. He's beautiful. And they know we're trying to help them. They come. They know we're trying to help.
You were saying earlier, Murph, before we went on the air, as I had noted that did a little, as I mentioned, a little research before the show. Average life expectancy of a robin, it says here, is 12 years. And I thought I read where the eastern bluebird was 10 years, but you said that's probably the male, not the female.
And it's, I think it's stretching it a little, Gordy. Maybe in the southern states I would go along with that, but up here we say 5-6 years. I don't know. You can almost tell a spot if you have a bluebird and they have a 2 hatch, they hatch twice and everything's going fine. They can find their food and everything. They're coming back next year. Or somebody in that family's coming back, I say.
To that box.
They've banded. We banded baby birds in the past.
Sure.
Never came back to the same area, maybe 10 miles or so. Never came back to the, but I think a family comes back. They know where that spot was. If they didn't have any trouble, if they could find plenty of food to get their babies out, they're coming back. Well, if they don't come back, many of people said last year, I had bluebirds there for years, I don't have them. I wonder what's wrong. And I think the family has probably migrated together and all died together. You know, so that's my thought.
So if I get one of these nest boxes,
Yep.
and put it up,
Yep.
and I get a bird's nest in that nest box, when the birds leave, do I take the nest out?
You do, Gordy. Yes, we do. We clean the nest out every time we walk away from the nesting area and drop it out so raccoons don't get the smell of that. But yes, we do. We clean it every time, put it back up, make it ready for mom again, and about 8-9 days, sometimes 10 days, they'll start a nest back again, and they'll lay 5 eggs usually the first time, sometimes 6. We've had as many as 7. The next time, if everything's good, they can find plenty of food, they'll have another 5. And if they happen to come back with a 3 hatch, you get a 3rd hatch, you might have 3 or 4 eggs then. And they always get them out. Works great.
And they use these because they know they're protected, you're saying?
They know. And we can handle this house now. We have traps. We can trap a sparrow if he tries to get in this house. We have a flag we hang on it. Once, if we're in an area that might have sparrows, we put this orange flag on it, keep the sparrows away. It works. It works. Doesn't bother the bluebird at all. Bluebird will sit right on top of the flag.
Yeah, but the sparrows don't like the...
Sparrows don't. The
orange.
sparrow likes to sit right on the front of that house. The male sparrow falls in love with this house. He's the one that picks the house out. And he likes to sit right in front. If that flag comes, it chases him off.
I don't know if you heard this or not. I thought this was fascinating. Birds actually dream when they sleep, according to research.
Didn't know that, Gordon.
Research was done, see, I'm telling you something.
See,
By
yes,
the
you
University of Chicago, they did research, and they dream about their songs. And while they're sleeping, it says here they have dream rehearsals, and they sing the song better the next day then. They're practicing in their sleep.
That could be.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting. And maybe that's why that cardinal gets up in the morning just before the sun and starts in singing. that cardinal has a pretty song.
And I didn't realize this before until I read this and I thought about it. It says, with very few exceptions, birds do not sing when they are on the ground.
I would go along with that.
Isn't that interesting?
I would go along
It doesn't
with that.
say why, I don't know why, but
Yeah, I couldn't tell you why either. No.
maybe they don't like to sing when they're working.
That could be, Gordy.
Look at
Trying
the
to
food.
find something to eat.
Yeah. The American crow, by the way, is found in every state except Hawaii. I thought that was interesting.
Yep. Hawaii can have them all as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not a
Crows aren't much for me.
I'm not a big crow guy either.
No.
So
no.
again, information about how people can get involved in the Bluebird Expo on April 11th. By the way, it's perfect that you're having Italian on the menu because I'll be in Italy then.
Oh, God. You're going to be gone, aren't
I'll
you,
be in
Gordy?
Italy. Yeah.
Too
I
bad.
don't
Too
know, but if
bad you're going
Bluebirds
to
in
miss
Italy,
it.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, okay. Jeannie Mortensen, get a hold of her, folks. She'd love to hear from you. 507-664-9433.
And you save yourself a couple bucks if you do this before
If you
April
do it
1st.
before the 1st of April, you do.
Save a couple dollars.
Save $2. Yep.
Thanks, Murph. It's always a joy to visit with you.
Thank you, Gordy, and from Al Bat, thanks for what you do.
Oh, and not a problem. We enjoy doing it. It says here a bird requires more food in proportion to its size than a human baby or a cat. And with that, I will leave you on that note.